Shalom, 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 Akim. Giving up praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Chakadash. The honor should I was G Master Wise. I teach you Akim out there, Christians wearing truth and sincerity, risking your freedom and your life to do so. More so now than ever before because, as you can see, it's a lot of things going on in the news, politics, this whole Kanye West, situation about him bringing up the 12 tribes of Israel, NBA player, forget his name at the moment, but he brought it out, Kyrie Irving, okay, about Hebrews, the Negroes book. So a lot of things are coming to be to light, and as we know what the scriptures say, let's get it real quick. Let's get it real quick. Let me see. Hold on. This gospel. Salakia, 1 second. All right, Matthew 24:14. In this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall it come. All right, so it's important that even though we have different opinions of what might happen, but granted, he might not be in the camps or pushing out there on the highways and byways. He might not even say the name of the Lord. But the fact that he's pushing, Kanye West in particular, I'm talking about the fact that he brought out the nation of Israel, 12 tribes, and how he's relating the so-called black man, woman, and child in America to the children of Israel is a start. And it's a major, major, major puzzle and key step to the spreading of the gospel. Okay, the scriptures say once this word is preached to the four corners, then the end is going to come. So it's very vital, and we might disagree with his points, but the fact that he said that on national TV, however brothers feel about him, we should be applauding through the spirit of Yahweh Shemal Shah that the message is getting out. Okay, but the point of this was as our name, the name of Israel is getting talked, and our people wake up to who they are and start to come back to the Lord, we start to see things like this. And it's from CNN.com. U.S. officials divided over new intelligence suggesting Russian military discussed scenarios for using nuclear weapons. Now, unless you've been under a rock, nuclear weapons is a big thing in the news. I mean, not mainstream news, of course. Not the ones they put on the television, but the ones that they put on websites or you have to read, because most people don't read. Most people are stuck on stupid. So most people are not going to read the news and things like that. But there's a whole bunch of talks of nuclear war. Ukraine has nuclear weapons. Russia has nuclear weapons. North Korea, South Korea are gearing up with nuclear weapons. And it's biblical prophecy, okay? So I'm going to read a little bit good scripture. It says, Russian military officials have discussed how and under what conditions Russia will use a tactical nuclear weapon on the battlefield in Ukraine. According to the U.S. intelligence assessment described to CNN by multiple sources who had read it, the assessment drafted by a National Intelligence Council is not a high-confidence product and is not raw intelligence, but rather analysis. Multiple people have read it and told CNN. For that reason, some officials have believed the conversations reflected in the document may have been taken out of context and do not necessarily indicate that Russia is preparing to use a nuclear weapon, which we know, according to the Bible, they are. And like the elders always say, Most High didn't allow these weapons to be created to sit in the lab. They will be used, okay? So it says the U.S. has still not seen any sign that Russian President Vladimir Putin has decided to take the drastic step of using one, official said, and Putin is not believed to have been involved in discussion described in the NIC product. But others within the administration who have viewed the document have reacted with concern because it provides a rare window into conversation between senior Russian generals and reveals their intensifying frustrations about Russia's losses on the battlefield in Ukraine. And we must understand that the United States is using, and not just the United States, other NATO countries are using Ukraine as a proxy army, meaning it's like a pawn in a game of chess. Okay, instead of the king moving, he used the little guy as a sacrificial lamb to essentially, hopefully, take down Russia, which is not going to happen. Because when there's a mutually assured destruction, i.e. a nuclear weapon, nobody wins. Because if any part is losing drastically and they're desperate enough, they're going to press the button. But we know, according to prophecy, that's not going to happen just like that. It's other prophecies that have to take place. So I'll read a little bit more. That it says that frustration could turn into desperation, some officials fear. There are also questions about whether Russia's self-declared annexation of eastern Ukraine earlier this year means Russia is willing to take more extreme measures to protect the territory. So, and this is Russia's commander-in-chief, nicknamed Armageddon. Any use of nuclear weapons would generate international outrage and will put pressure on the U.S. and NATO to take retaliatory actions, which, would be all-out nuclear war. So let's get the scriptures, man. Zechariah 14:12. Now that we know you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Israelites, and everything you suffered, and your ancestors suffered, is going to come home to roost. And the people that cause these afflictions and pain is going to feel that wrath, you see? Zechariah 14:12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, right? And what is the only instrument that's able to do that? Literally, you're standing up and your flesh melts away. A thermonuclear missile. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. All right? That's talking about a nuclear warhead. You see? For all the atrocities that were done to our people, and it's still that's happening. That'll be the day of the Lord's vengeance. The punishment for the afflictions of Jerusalem. You see? Isaiah 13, verse 19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And how he do that? Fire and brimstone from heaven. And he destroyed the 5 cities within Sodom and Gomorrah. 2 cities and the 3 cities round about them. And it was completely devastated with fire from heaven. But the Most High is going to use these heathens to destroy themselves with nuclear war. Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Right. Complete devastation. So, it's a little insight, man. Things are really getting hot and heavy, man. So with that, I want to say shalom.